All right, y'all, just a quick lesson off the phone. I want to give y'all this one before I lay it down. Matthew 23:23 talks about the Pharisees. They tied in anise and cumin and mint, but they forget the weightier matters of the law. And then Christ says those things ought to be done, but the other done also. You shouldn't leave undone the others, and that's pretty much what they were doing. And I'm just paraphrasing that verse. Go look at it. I think it's Matthew. It's in Matthew 23. But in there it says these things ought to be done. What things ought to be done? The tithing. Yeah, you should be tithing. So all the way in Matthew 23, we have Christ commanding that we tithe. And if red letter, some of my brothers is red letter only, Old Testament red letter only. If you taking that route, you supposed to be tithing. All right? You supposed to be tithing. And don't try to get out of it talking about we ain't got no temple and da-da-da-da-da, woo-dee-woo. We have people preaching the law. We have people teaching you the law. We have people teaching you the word. And that's, in the priest's lips, just keep knowledge. People keeping you knowledge. That knowledge is the law. You should be paying tithes. But for my people who want the whole story, who are dealing with the whole story, then, we have Hebrews. We have the epistles to look at and to glean from, where we're under a different priesthood. All right, we're under a different priesthood. And a lot of those things with the Levitical law, with the priest, the ordinances under the priesthood, dealing with the priesthood and ceremonial. I don't know if that's in there. I have to look and see again if that's even in there, ceremonial laws. But a lot of those ordinances dealing with the priesthood have changed due to the fact that we have changed with another priesthood. But again, you can't get stuck there. You can't get stuck there. But if you play that game, people can play that game with you. Hey, man, Christ told you you're supposed to be tithing. And I know brothers teach against tithing, all the time. And I still feel, you should give alms and you should give things to help the body, so forth. And there's other, there's other texts to substantiate that. But far as that 10%, that's a commandment from Christ himself. You ought to have done those things. You ought to do those things also. Tithe in the mint, in the anise, in the just tithing. He mentioned those smaller things because they were dealing with those small things. And they were very diligent. And understand that your righteousness got to exceed the righteousness of the Pharisees. So you can't be short on that tithe money. Don't you be short on that tithe money. And again, I'm just showing methodology and some of the holes that are in it when we get stuck on things. When Paul is saying something here and then we're running back somewhere else and saying, well, Christ said this. And there's several things like that. And if we're saying that these epistles aren't authoritative, man, eventually some of these brothers have just thrown them out. They're just extra biblical material, like your Jashers and your Enochs and your other books. They kind of put them in those realms. I'm saying that's very problematic if you do that. But I just wanted to hit you with that. You know what I'm saying? What y'all think about that? Is that a commandment there? Christ is giving you a commandment to tithe. Are you going to disobey Christ?